That leads us very nicely into our next session, which is focused on people. We've asked Martin van Eeden, who runs Imagine Better, to come talk to us about that. He's a coach, a performance, business, life coach, all put together, that's working with our leadership team at the moment to just lift the game. And he's going to be chatting to us about how to think about people in this environment. Martin.
Hi, thank you very much for having me, Lo. I just want to apologize before I start. Technical difficulties were on my part, so I've got no presentation ready that I can show, just because Outlook or PowerPoint decided to crash on me numerous times today. So I'm just going to pretend that I'm on e-news or something and just take you through what I've been thinking about the last couple of years or the last year or two since COVID hit. And I just want to share in this short 6 minutes with you 3 concepts that will make your team highly adaptable, resilient, and high performing, and then 5 leadership trends to consider in 2022. I think we all have heard the concept, the Great Resignation, the past few months. We've seen it on the news. We've read about it in business journals. Companies all over the world had an outpouring of talent quitting their jobs during COVID. And there are numerous reasons for this. But some people say that the pandemic was actually just the catalyst for this movement, that people were actually considering leaving their work way before COVID actually started. And COVID just was like the last nail in the coffin to get people to move on, to find better opportunities and jobs. So scholars, journalists, leadership experts have reframed the Great Resignation with words like the Great Reshuffle, the Great Upgrade. And if you go and Google the Great Resignation, you will see many other greats out there. So I want to add my voice to that today. And I want to call this actually the Great Integration, because we've been living with COVID now for 2 years. And if we haven't learned how to adapt, how to be resilient, and how to live into uncertain circumstances, then we haven't learned anything out of this pandemic. So that's why I call it the Great Integration. And integration for me is a much better word than creating balance, because integration allows us to sit with the uncomfortability of that things are changing, that we have to create new systems, we have to adapt to new ways of working. So how do we integrate our lives and our teams with constantly adaptable and changing environments? And in his book, Culture Code, Daniel Coyle has got 3 main concepts that I feel is getting back to the basics of what teamwork needs to be. And just the context of how we implement this have changed with, as Phil also said, that we've got hybrid work, we've got remote work, we've got 100% office work. So how we implement this is very important. So the first thing that we would need in 2022 is to build environments of safety. Psychological safety is a word that's been going along for a very long time. And so I think in our hybrid teams, and this plays a very, very important role. We need to trust our teams, that our teams need to know that they are trusted, that they will get the work done, that there is room for experimentation, that they can try new things out, that there is flexible work conditions and freedom to choose where I do my work from. So communication is a very big thing in creating this belonging. To step up communication, to step up the thank yous, and to step up the praise, and to make the most of what I call threshold moments. Make something special of when someone joins your team, even if it's remotely. Make something special of celebrating birthdays, even if it's over Zoom or remotely as well. The second thing is to share vulnerability. And vulnerability creates cooperation. We often think that we need to trust before we can be vulnerable, but actually it is actually the other way around. We need to be vulnerable first, and then we can establish trust. Jeff Balser, who is head of organizational psychology at Harvard, he says that what teams are really about is the ideas that we can combine our strengths and use our skills in a complementary way, And being vulnerable gets the static out of the way and let us do the job together without worrying or hesitating. It lets us work as a unit. So I think from a leadership perspective, it is good to share vulnerability. Ask your teammates what they need from you. Show them that you are also struggling and coping with new ways of work, and ask them what you can do personally to make work better and more effective for them. And then the third thing is to establish purpose. And it seems that's all that we're going to have time for today. And purpose is a big word. The funny thing about purpose is that most companies establish their purpose during times of crisis. And I feel that most companies missed out of this opportunity during COVID. In the book of Art of Possibility, there's a line where they say that don't let people live up to the expectation, rather let them live into possibility. So ask your people, what is possible in these changing circumstances? What is the possibilities that we can look forward to? I wish I had more time to get into this. I'm happy to chat with you offline or in the near future. This is the stuff that I'm passionate about. So remember to share purpose, be vulnerable, and create safety and belonging. It was good chatting to you guys. Bye.